Hello, everybody. This is April Novoa, and I am here today with Kim Coker, or as we affectionately call her, Guillaume.
Yum.
Guillaume, I'm so excited to have you here because I've been wanting to sit down and learn a little bit more about you and all the wonderful things you do and share that with our audience. So let's just get right into it. Tell me a little bit about your background.
Oh, my background. Let's see. I I'll just tell you what I do right now.
Okay.
Right now, I am a sound practitioner and it's intuitive. So I have a space that's here that I'm sitting in where there's a massage table beside me, and I have clients, friends, whoever feels like they need some kind of an energy shift, or if they're feeling like they need some kind of a therapy session. It is a form of therapy. I use my crystal bowls, and I'm going to try my best not to say but that's my filler word. So if I
I do
say
that too.
excuse me. So my bowls are what I use a lot of when I have
Okay.
the therapy sessions. And the client lays on the massage table, and I kind of scan their energy field and connect my energy with their energy so that I'll know intuitively, or I feel, whatever, however you want to say it, what
Mhm.
they need as far as a sound goes.
Okay.
Before a session, I ask my spirit guides to meet with their guides,
Mhm.
and the energy is already connecting as far as that goes. But then when they get here, I like to feel what their energy is like for that day, because energy changes daily.
Yes.
And then I'll um, just listen
Mhm.
and ask what do I do first. And
Mhm.
then if there's a bowl that calls out, sometimes this red one right here will call out first because it's a
Mm.
lower um, chakra. I like to work with the chakras, whichever way, tomato, you want to say that too.
Right.
I
Yeah.
like to use the red one first because it's kind of grounding.
Mhm.
Um, and then I'll see what the client is looking like, if they have any kind of resistance to the sounds, and then I know
Mm.
that that's the one area that I'm going to focus on a little bit more during the session. So
Wow.
that's what I'm doing now. I
Okay.
have you asked my history per se. I also do reflexology.
Okay.
Um, I have been through aromatherapy class, which that's not high on the list. I just touched on that just for my personal self.
Mm.
I have done hair.
Mhm.
So I've been a therapist in the hair field and then
Wow.
decided I needed to be a sound therapist.
Yeah.
My husband teases. He's like, I don't know if you know who Sally Struthers is in the
I do.
commercial. She
Yes.
used to have this commercial that lists out all these degrees or all these certificates you could get. You could be a plumber, you could be a DVD, or not DVD, that was during the days of VCR, a VCR repair. You
Right.
could be a beautician. And he's like, Kim, you could do every one of those. He's like, you could teach people every single one of those. And I'm like, well, why
Wow.
stop learning? Why stop learning?
Exactly. Well, you really do connect with your clients and you provide a service to humanity that's taken on a lot of different forms. And that's really, really beautiful. And you
Thank you.
have this sense for people. I mean, would you say, with you mentioned the Red Bull, would you say that people are in need of grounding right now, probably more than ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the way that the world is shifting right now, there's a fear, there's
Mhm.
frantic, there's just unknown. And one thing that I like to recommend to most of my clients is get back to nature.
Mm.
You know, we are so out there and running here, and I have to go fast, and
Yeah.
I had a wreck in November, and I have noticed since then the people that are just on my tail constantly. And I'm like, where are you going? Do
Right.
you really have to get there that fast?
Yes.
Slow down. Go sit with the earth for a little while. We've gotten
Yeah.
so far removed from what nature can do for us, and the vibration of the earth and how healing that is, and
Mhm.
plastic between our feet that
Mm.
keep us from even touching the earth. Take your shoes
Mhm.
off and just put your feet on the earth. And
Yes.
that is what this one helps me to accomplish or my
Yeah.
intent when I have a session with clients,
So
because it is
that's
the root. It is the
that
root goal.
that's the place to start. That's the
Yes.
place to start, and probably with most people now. And so what kind of walks of life do your clients come from? Like what are they needing mostly besides grounding?
Um, you can't really put one thing on that. I have had clients from just wanting to take a few minutes for themselves and relax. I
Mhm.
mean, that's just the basic,
Mhm.
to really trying to remember who they are and
Yeah.
trying to remove the conditionings that the world and our parents have put on them. And
Mm.
actually, that is my ultimate being for doing what I do. I believe
Mm.
that I've been called to help other people to remember we are love.
Mm.
We are light. We are
Mhm.
not who the world has made us to be.
Yes.
And here in America, it's more, more, more.
Mhm.
Where when you go back to the roots of who we are and the tribalness of the community that was originally in this country before it was founded,
Right.
that is the root of who we are. We are
Mm.
community. We
Mhm.
are connection with others. We are energetic beings that need to be with each other.
Yes.
So I believe that I have been called here, birthed here in today's time to help others. As I heal, I help others heal.
Mm.
So
To
that's my
re-
goal.
really reconnect with themselves. And once
Yeah.
they reconnect with themselves, then they can reconnect with one another.
Yes.
That's a beautiful calling. And you do this through sound, through vibration, because everything's vibration, right?
Yep, it is. And the way that I like to look at sound is, if you go have a massage, the
Mhm.
massage is massaging your muscles, and
Mm.
you do massage, you know what that does.
Yes.
Um, so massage just relaxes and moves through the outside, where sound vibration is vibrating. And
Mm.
when it's doing this, it's going inside and it's
Mhm.
vibrating and massaging your organs and shifting your blood and helping your brain with the look at the ocean and how the
Yes.
ocean rises and falls with the moon and the
Yes.
pool. That's what vibration does inside of you. It shifts things around. And I may have a session that that'll lay here and just start sobbing. And I'm like,
Mm.
let it out. You're in a
Right.
safe place. Release that.
Mhm.
And then I've had to get deeper, had clients that have had to run to the bathroom real quick and use the
Wow.
bathroom. And we won't go too far in depth with that, but there was a very, very big release with that. And then
Yeah.
people that just feel like maybe they need to throw up,
Mhm.
that is, those are forms of release, and I encourage that when I have sessions. I'm like,
Mhm.
don't resist that, allow that to come out, because there is something in there that is shifting, that is trying to come to the surface, so let
Right.
that out.
And it's
So
just
it's
not a,
pretty intense what the sound vibration does if you allow it and don't resist it.
and it seems so disarming compared to trying to articulate in words. It's like the body's speaking in its own language, and it's not necessary to really distill that down to words
Right.
necessarily.
Yes.
And they can
That's why
release.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
cut
you
you
know,
off.
there's a, go
That's
ahead.
why I have a hard time explaining to people what I do, because you kind of have to experience it.
Yes.
You have to come in and feel what it feels like, and if you want just a demo, let's do a demo with the pyramid,
Mm-hmm.
and that just brings you back to
Mm.
calmness. And the lady up front here at the house, like Angie, she's always telling me, well, let's do this and let's get you out there through video. And I'm like, how do I put in words
Yes.
what this does? I don't always have those words. I
Mm-hmm.
just want you to experience it and
Mm.
feel what happens and what shifts and
Mm.
what it can do for you.
In so many ways, it seems so far superior to words because it's
Mhm.
hitting on something that is ethereal, that can't really be described, something deep. And
Yeah.
I think about indigenous cultures, and almost every single one of them had a tradition of sound around a campfire.
Like a drum.
Who do we have here?
This is a horse drum. The hide is horse, and I birthed this drum. This drum doesn't have a name. This is a drum that I birthed for the collective. So whenever I'm around others, if I'm doing a drum journey, then I'll use this drum.
Okay.
But I also have, there's 2 drums that are sitting right here. And this peacock one that's painted with the peacock, I asked for the intent of peacock to be in it. And that is a form of protection. That's just the one thing. And I'm telling you the one thing that's in with a peacock intent, because I played that drum the night that we had the tornado here. That drum normally, it's not a play drum. Whenever I try to just play with it, it doesn't want to sound. It's like, no, I'm good. But the night of that we had the tornado last March here in Newnan, I pulled it out. Well, let me back the story up. I tried to play my other drums, the ones that I normally play, and they wouldn't play. I guess there was so much moisture that they were like, no, I'm not playing. Yeah. Well, I sat there and I'm like, how the heck am I going to do a drum journey if I don't even have a drum to play?
Right.
Well, I looked at, because I'm not used to playing that one. It doesn't normally play. So I looked at that one, the peacock, and I said, do you want to play tonight? And I picked it up, and the most beautiful sounds came from it. And I just started crying. And I'm like, how did I not even think to ask you? And it was the most beautiful drumming the whole session. And that night is when the tornado happened.
Yes.
So I picked it up the next day and I looked. Let me grab it real quick.
Yes, please.
I grabbed both of them. Good. So I picked up the drum and I looked, and on the inside, I don't know if you can see that, but on the inside around the rim, I write what intent I would like from each of my drums that I birth. And so this one on the inside says self-confidence, self-esteem, dignity, refinement, knowledge, sexuality, pride, beauty, nobility, guidance, holiness, watchfulness, and protection. And we had no idea there was a tornado that was going to be as strong as it was coming through that night. And this drum beforehand drummed for us for that protection and that watchfulness. And what else did I say? Oh, the guidance for what to do next, because we had no clue after the tornado. What do we do? Yes, it was a chaos.
It was devastating for our community. And a lot of people that don't live in Georgia or don't live in the South don't know how, what that did, but it was incredibly devastating. Yeah. And you were putting forth that balm of healing even before it happened. And
it's like it knew that's what needed to play.
Yes, that's really incredible. That is really something. Yeah, it's, like I said, I think it's so much beyond words, beyond what we can articulate. And I know when I have been around you or with you and you've been drumming and we've had a circle where we're drumming, I feel taken away. I feel lifted. I feel something other than, I wouldn't want to say human, but it's like it dives into the deepest depths of what it really is to be human. If that makes any sense. It's a beautiful experience. And I've also had a private session with you and I just kind of walk out like I'm on air. Like I'm just walking on air.
But that's one session. Your next session, you might not be that way.
It might not be that way.
Each one's different.
That's true. It's all about healing and returning you to you. Yes. And then once we can make peace with ourselves and with the things that are within us, then we can connect with others. So in a sense, you're just bringing about this collective peace just through vibration, but everything exists because of vibration, right?
Yes. Accurate. Very true. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So I believe that's why I was called to do vibration. I feel the vibration in myself, and really have been diving into my own healing and just feeling the vibration and feeling the shift within myself has been so powerful for me to be able to help others to
Yes.
feel the vibration too.
Now
Feel
the
it, feel it,
feel it.
feel the vibration.
What's the pyramid about? Can you kind of,
Oh, the
I want to
pyramid
know
is
about
about
that.
magic,
Okay,
pure magic.
I want to hear about that.
All right, let me just let you hear it.
Okay.
And it sounds a little bit different on a recording, but you can just get an idea of what the pyramid is like.
Okay.
All right, so just take a minute and close your eyes and take a really deep breath in and hold it for a second and then release through your mouth. And I want you to do that 2 more times. Take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it, and release. And one more time. And just listen and allow the sounds to come through without watching. Just feel it. And the sounds are starting to fade a little bit now. And like I said, I'm not sure how you can hear it through the recording, but that gives you a little bit of an idea of what that sound, what the 2 bowls in the pyramid together sound like.
Really beautiful.
And I don't just stop them. So that's what you see. I'm kind of just easing into the vibration and quieting the vibration. I don't just sit it down and say, okay, stop. I allow the sound to fade as it wants to. And then I sit it down. So it's still vibrating.
Yeah. And there's the body is still reacting. The cells are still reacting to that.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, there's really no substitute for doing it in person, but I feel like I got a little tune up, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
I'm
really
always
beautiful.
eager to share that.
So each one of the bowls, and that's always been a question of mine, they represent they treat, I guess, or address different chakras in the body.
They can. Yeah, they're if that is your intent.
Okay.
For me, like I said, for me, it's intuitive, and I can either put the intent of, okay, I'm going to start with this one, and then I'm going to go to this one, and then I'm going to go to this one, because those are the different chakras, or I can listen and see what I feel is next. I'll say, what next?
Mm.
And if it's not in order from the red to the orange to the yellow, then I play however I have heard to play.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, they are, when they're sold as the chakra, like the red, and then whatever color represents each chakra, they are sold that way, but you don't have to use them that way.
Mm-hmm.
There are times when I will use them that way, but
I love your intuitive approach, because it's not looking at a person as, this is what we do. This is the program for everybody. And I think
right.
that is a big problem in our society, is we tend to compartmentalize and label, and nobody is the same. And no one's
and have
needs.
a checklist. You have a checklist. Oh, well, we have to do this next. No, you don't have to do that. Actually, you need to see what the person needs, because no two people are made the same. Maybe you don't need the same as what I need, and why would I need a checklist to tell me to do it that way?
That's one thing I love about what you do, Kim, because it's so individualized. And I think that is something that's missing in pretty much all the systems of our world right now. But I feel like that's kind of changing slowly but surely, and for the better, is that we're having this holistic way of looking at people, as opposed to, you're a machine and you have a bolt here that's a little loose, and we need to check your carburetor.
I do have a couple of bolts loose, so
right.
Sorry.
Don't we all? And that's the thing. As you're working, you're picking up areas that need a little bit more attention than others, and that's just the way. That's just really holistic. It's correct. I think it's what our ancestors did.
Yes, agreed. Agreed with that. I mean, the drums are the longest standing sound that we've used for healing. Not only to help you personally one-on-one drumming, but collectively in ceremony. The drums have been around for so long that look how intuitive that was. They didn't always have a rhyme or a reason. They just knew what to play.
And they played for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes it was out of grief, and sometimes it was celebration, and all sorts of things. And I think that's really incredible.
Yeah.
When you when you get sound journeys, do you experience almost kind of, what is it like for you when you do it?
When I perform the journeys, or if I have a journey for myself?
You have a journey for yourself, or you're doing it for yourself.
Okay. Wait a minute. If I'm performing the ceremony for me, or if I'm going and sitting in ceremony with someone else doing it?
Either way. Is it different?
So when I go to a sound journey and allow others to play for me, it's more for me like a meditative state. I allow my brain to just shut down, and then I just ask for whatever to come through to come through in love and light, of course. Like, I don't want to go somewhere I shouldn't be, but that's if I go to a journey, and I just walk in and say whatever I need to have to shift, just allow that to shift. Okay. So now let's switch gears and doing it for myself. When I'm drumming, that's one of the best things for me to connect to spirit, to the people who I'm sitting with. I have a really big drum, Sheila. That was a gift to me. And when I have friends to sit around with me and we're on the same energetic level and same path, maybe, I guess is
right,
for lack of a better word that I'm trying to come up with.
Or
when
intention.
I sit, say it again.
Or intention.
Yeah, the
like
same
intention. Yeah.
Then it is. It's so beautiful. It's once again, how do you put words to it? I don't have the words for when we're drumming together. It's so powerful to me.
Yes.
I feel everybody in that circle as one.
Wow.
And it's like, I'm not separate from the ones that are sitting with me. We are, we just are.
You're just functioning as one organism together.
Yeah. Like
That's
we
really
are.
beautiful. Yeah.
Because
which
that's
is
how
what
we
we
are.
are, right? So it just kind of lifts the veil on what really reality is. And that is that we're all connected and we are all one and we're all different expressions of the same consciousness.
Yes.
It's really beautiful.
Yes.
Now, if I'm a person that has never had a sound session and let's just say I'm really nervous about it. How do I prepare myself for that? Like what is there anything that I should do?
The only thing that I would say is drink lots of water. You need to have lots of fluid because it is a form of detox.
Okay.
And just open yourself. Open your mind to receiving what's going to come forth. It is a very safe space. Mm-hmm. And I sit with, I don't like to say clients because to me it's so personal with the people that are coming to me. They're my friends. I truly make friends with my clients. And it's a communication back and forth. Like, what is your intent? What I might ask them is, what is your intent for this session today? Because I might have a different intent. That doesn't matter. Right. So when you come in, I might say, just for today, just for your session right now, what is your intent? What would you like to receive from this session? And they don't have to tell me. All I need for them to do is just think through what that intent is for them. Okay. And just allow for the vibrations to come through, and don't put any judgment on what's going to happen, and just say, okay, I'm here to receive, and just allow it. That's all I would really say. There's not really a whole lot that you have to do other than drink the water.
That water is always good.
Yeah.
Would it be the same then for like a group? Same, just allow?
Yeah, groups are a little bit different for me, because a one-on-one session is a little bit deeper. You get that connection with the person, and they're in a safe spot. You know, they feel like they can share whatever they want to share. Whereas in a group setting, you are picking up the energy from everybody else, which makes it more of a meditation than it does a therapy. And that's just coming from me right now. Each person might receive something different from it than where I am. They may come in and think, oh gosh, that was wonderful. That healed me right on up. Whereas I'm thinking, okay, what did you get from that? So
right. It's going to be different.
Yeah.
Depending on the person.
My bowls are just vibrating as I'm sitting here talking. It's just going to.
It wants to be heard. I'm like, you want to be heard too. Is there anything else you'd want to show us or tell us about that you've got back there?
I gotta share this drum. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have to share this.
Don't apologize. I want to see it.
Oh, this is the first drum that it's called birth. You birth the drum because it is like a birth. You reach into the water and you pull the hide out when it's wet, and it's like the baby being birthed and all slimy. You pull it out, and then you lay it on top of the frame, and you just do a ceremony with the hide, because the hide it was a living being. You know, this is an elk.
Yeah.
And you just thank the elk for coming and sending its medicine for you. And you thank the frame, because the frame is wood and wood's living. So when I first birthed this drum, I heard the name Polly. And Polly is a great grandmother of mine that I have never met.
Wow.
And so I named this drum Polly. And the intent was for my ancestors, for the angels, and for our creator, God, to be with me as I'm playing this drum. And today is the second birthday for this drum It's 2 years old on 2022. So all those twos, and it's its second birthday. And this drum right here has been with me personally as my drum when I need encouragement or guidance. Then I just drum and I just allow for God's word to come through and speak to me and tell me what I need to do. So this is my personal drum, and I have used it with other people, and it just takes you somewhere. It just takes you into a deep journey. But now my horse drum is the one that I use for other people more, and this one more for me. So thank you for letting me share, Polly.
Well, it's very special, and that's a really very sacred thing. And I don't think that a lot of people understand that about drumming. I mean, they think that you can just, pop in a store and buy one, and there's not the connection to it. And and you really bring that connection. And I know you've done some drum birthing ceremonies with people.
I do.
Quite beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's like for them? How you do that?
So what I do is I've done group journeys, listen to me. I've done group birthings, and I'm the doula. So I help guide them through how to birth their own drum. And I've also done individual birthing with people as well. One was down by our creek at our farm, and that was so special because the hide actually was pulled out of the water. And,
oh, wow.
And so collect my thoughts. I'm squirreling here. Okay. So it's a very, words are hard.
It's sacred. It's hard to describe because it's very sacred. Yeah.
It is very sacred. So what you do in the beginning, when you decide that you want to birth a drum, you ask for whatever hide, whatever animal is meant for you to come to you. So instead of just saying, yeah, I want to get a deer. Well, I ask for you to sit with that before you decide which one you want to get, and ask, what do I need for where I am right now? And it could be a horse, it could be an elk, it could be a deer, a moose, a buffalo, just whichever one of those comes to you. And normally when you say, okay, this is the one I want. Okay, so like the elk, for instance. So when I said the elk was for me personally, and it came to me. So I know now, after playing with it for 2 years, that elk was the medicine that I needed just for me. Okay. So I asked for you to ask which one is meant for you. And then we set up a date, whatever date is good for both of us, because it takes a good while to do it, several hours. And I don't want to give everything away because it is so special. Don't. Yeah. But what I just said about my drum and the birthing, you go through that blessing the drum, and after you make it, holding it and feeling it and breathing your breath of life into it. And we light a candle around or on the inside that sparks the fire inside of it. And it's just sacred. It's a sacredness. It is like birthing a child, because you're protective of that drum afterwards. You want to take care of it. And each one is so different from any of them. I mean, you can go to the store and buy them with whatever the person made them, put the intent in it. But there's something so special about birthing your own drum and knowing that hide came from a living animal that gave its life to maybe it was another animal that needed to eat that animal. Who knows what it was? But natural causes are what these hides are from. But just knowing that came to you. Right. That came to you out of everybody in the world. It came to you. So
there's such a temptation in our society to trivialize things that are really, really have so much depth to them. And people are really unaware. They're really unaware of the source of what they wear, what they eat. And to me, what you're describing is bringing back the human's connection to its source. And
we take things for granted.
We do, and we don't see our place in the greater picture, nature. We are part of nature, and we seem to have forgotten that. And one of the beautiful things that you're bringing, besides the amazing sound, is this deep, deep connection with who we really are as a species, and returning to who we are.
Yes.
And I greatly, greatly admire you for that. And, you're just a genius. I call you a genius all the time. You really are.
And freak.
Well,
that's genius or freak.
Well, that's the funny thing about when people don't have understanding about something, that they don't take the time to really look at something. They tend to, based on their own frame of reference, develop an opinion. And that's so lazy. It's just so lazy. And but if you really stop to look at things and see the beauty and see how incredible, beauty is the perfect word, because that's what it is. You bring, with what you do, with what many of our practitioners do, they're bringing some beauty and some connectedness into who we are as a species and our earth. And I'm extremely grateful that we have you up there at the House of Light. And I'm
thank you.
Very blessed to be in your presence and in your space, and to have experienced that. And the opportunity to share this is not something that I take lightly with anyone I speak to. So
thank you. What an honor.
I'm honored. And I do have one. Oh, well, I'm going to put, just so everybody knows, so we don't have to go through all the rigmarole. If you're needing to get in contact with Kim or schedule an appointment, I'm going to have all of her details underneath this video. And you can just click on it or dial it or text it or whatever it is you want to do. But she is available at the House of Light and other spaces as well. So I will make sure that you can connect with her. So I have one question that I ask everybody, and it's kind of just a silly question. I just like to see where everybody, it's interesting.
Okay, one question.
Just one.
Just one. That's all you
just
get.
One. That's it. So if you could live at any one time in history, when would that be and why?
I still just can't think of any other timeline that I would rather be in than now. I think that I've already lived in those timelines, and I'm in this one now, and this is where I'm supposed to be.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
And here I am.
And here I am.
In the timeline I'm supposed to be in. I don't know that they all seem like they were hard.
Yes.
So I don't know that I want to go back to any of them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This earth tends to have an educational component that is not real comfortable for us, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had a period that I would like to go back to, it wouldn't be a different timeline, though. It would be here and me being able to see my grandfather again. I was very close with my grandfather, and he passed when I was in high school, and I would love to see him, and my dad as well. I would love to see my dad because I haven't seen him since I was little, and I would just ask if they could be back here in the physical body for a minute. That would be nice, but I can't say that I would want to go back to any other lifetime.
I love that. That's a beautiful answer. And with that, Kim, I want to thank you so much for being with us today and for all that you bring into the world. And again, I will have these details for you out there if you'd like to get in touch with her. And I just want to thank you so much. I was honored to speak with you today.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this with me. It was a blessing.
It was, definitely. And we'll talk soon. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Mm-hmm.